Chris, we talk a ton on the pod about we've talked about it a ton, but about Heat culture. There's something about their team that I feel like is just it's made for the bubble.
Right.
Can you speak a little bit about Heat culture and what that is when they talk about that?
Well, I mean, it's really just the approach to things. It's the way of the Heat, really. To be hardworking, to be in shape, to compete, regardless of who's playing together, sharing the ball, and really, Spo. I give huge credit to Spo. He's done a phenomenal job of really just continuing the Heat culture and really putting those things together and figuring out how to transition all of those beliefs onto the court, and have guys buy into it. I think that's most important when trying to compete, because it's so many factors and it's hard winning one NBA game. You know what I mean? And
say that again for the listener.
Yes.
Say that again for the listener.
It's very hard to win one NBA game. For everyone out there listening,
one NBA game.
Yes. I'm not talking about playoffs. I'm not talking about championship. I'm talking about a regular season basketball game. Those are difficult to win. And, just trying to be consistent as a team and have these principles to base the system off of. It's not an easy thing to do, but Spo, he's brought an intensity. They've got the right players. Jimmy Butler has done a phenomenal job this year, and he's just, I think they identify with they're really good at finding those guys that fit that culture. Those hard playing, long arm dudes that would love nothing better than to get a defensive stop to get it all done. Scrappy guys, and they have a huge cornerstone in Bam Adebayo. He's a tremendous player. He has his own style. I've never really seen anything like it in the way he approaches the game and plays the game. But all these guys, and just seeing their guys like Duncan Robinson just improving in the way he's just shooting the ball. I'm not gonna lie to you. In the regular season, I'm the cynical vet. A guy does good in a regular season game. I'm like, okay, whoop-de-doo. Okay, 7 threes in a preseason. Okay, whatever. All right, we'll see. And he has been consistent the whole season, and guys like Goran accepting his role of coming off the bench. I don't know too many other organizations where, a guy would buy into that, to be honest with you. So, I mean, they're just doing a great job of how to, approach the game, how to be a professional, how to play together, how important things are. And I think you're seeing that transpire onto the court.
What is the Heat conditioning test? Can you describe it? Because it's a legendary conditioning test. You can't enter training camp. Like, you can't participate in training camp until you pass this conditioning test. So what is it?
It's just 5-10s, man. You've done it before. We've all done it before. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just mentally, it's the mental. It's not hard, but it's the mental aspect of it, because we've all passed conditioning tests before, right? You just probably haven't done it since college or since you were like a rookie or something in training camp and they were just busting your balls, This, the whole team does it together. And I think that's kind of like the mind, because you do have to push yourself. It's not easy. And they have just, selected times. And the deal is you don't start training camp until you pass it. And it would be really embarrassing to not pass in front of the whole team,
Well, a lot of that becomes public, and then you're publicly shamed. So it's 10 lengths, one up, two back.
Yeah.
10
right.
10
1,
times.
2, 3, yeah.
In under a minute? What is it timed?
I can't remember the times. I think guards 61 to 62 seconds, forwards 62 to 64, somewhere in there. I think bigs 65 to 70, somewhere in there. But then But then they'll be like, okay, my thing all the time was for them to push me. They're like, you got to make it with the threes. You got to go with the small forward, CB. You can't. Don't be out here coasting, And I was just always like, man, and you only get so much rest. And like I say, everybody's in front of you, so they've got that thing organized pretty solidly. So it's quick, very quick, very quick. And if you've been kind of shortcutting it over the summer, you're going to get exposed. And it's I come to appreciate it now. As a player, I hated it, to be honest with you. But we all bought in. But it's just like a certain preparation, because a lot of guys use training camp to get in shape. Their philosophy, come into camp. You hear Pat and Spo say it in interview after interview, come into training camp in shape. And we get going because, a lot of teams are kind of just, still going through the motion in the first month, still getting their legs, still we want to whoop ass coming out the gate,
Hearing you describe that test, while I think I could pass it, that's not the issue. I actually started getting like butterflies in my stomach because I'm thinking about all the conditioning tests that I had to do at Duke, or even like in my off season when I do my conditioning stuff, and at the end of your workout it's that conditioning day, and you get like that sick feeling where you're like, man, I really don't want to do this. Nope. I really don't want to do it, but I know it'll help. There's nothing worse than running. There's nothing worse. And
it's still that tap of like that, just breaking your body all the way down. I mean, your soul getting tapped every time. Like, God damn, dude. Like, you just bring you to your knees, push, make the time. You got to lay there for like half an hour and gather yourself.